Hey guys, what it do? So recently I have heard a few counter arguments against the belief that God allows evil, and today I want to take some time out to tackle those counter arguments. And one of the counter arguments comes from the book of Job. That's right, good old suffering Job. Yeah. And the book of Job is very interesting because it is one of the best examples in scripture that we have of God, of why God allows evil, or why he allows bad things to happen to good people. So someone made the argument concerning the book of Job that the reason why Job experienced all the suffering that he had experienced wasn't because God allowed Satan to do it, but it was because Job was operating out of fear. And because Job was operating out of fear, he had opened the door for Satan to attack him. Satan, according to this person, said that Satan had a right to attack him because of Job's fear. And the scripture that they reference is from the book of Job, when he says that the thing I feared the most has happened to me. But if we were to look at that and allow scripture to interpret scripture, we would see that it wasn't Job's fear that caused him to experience the suffering. Because if it was Job's fear, that means that Job was somehow at fault for his suffering that he experienced. And we read in the book of Job that no one could find fault in Job. His friends couldn't find fault in him. Satan couldn't find fault in him. And neither could God. God said that he was blameless. So if God wasn't able to find fault in Job, his friends was able to find fault in Job, and neither was Satan, how could we? How could we say that fear is the cause of his suffering? Even when you get to the end of the book of Job, God never rebukes Job for his fear. He never says, Job, the reason why this happened to you is because you were afraid and you opened the door for Satan to attack you. And neither did Job come to the point where he understood that he did anything wrong. The only thing that Job came to the realization was that he was talking out of turn, was that he did not really understand the totality of who God was and the world that he lived in. And he came to the understanding that, hey, look, there's some things beyond my understanding. There's some things that in this broken world, it happens out of turn. But in spite of those sufferings, in spite of those mishaps, I'm still going to trust you through it. And God, forgive me for speaking out of turn. That was what the lesson that's taught in the book of Job. So just from the book of Job alone, we can see that if we allow scripture to interpret scripture, that Job's fear wasn't the cause of his suffering. It was Satan who was allowed by God to cause his suffering. And God used that for a greater good.